Herschel, wear the hat.
Hi, you're making it a Snapchat? Hello, people on Snapchat.
Wear it. Wear the hat. He doesn't think Jesus loves him.
No!
Herschel. What's wrong, buddy? Yoshi, do you want some steak? Do you want some carnivore diet steak? Because we got it. We got it right here. It's going to be my breakfast. You're going on YouTube.
Oh, good.
All right, guys, so it is day 2 of the Carnivore Challenge, and I just want to say a couple of things. First of all, I think the word is pronounced satiety, not satiety. Dr. Paul Saladino, okay? Satiety. The second thing is, it's also pronounced cumin and not cumin. For all of you people who are weirdos and say cumin, it's pronounced cumin. Third, if you say the word almond, shouldn't you also pronounce salmon as salmon? I mean, come on. It only makes sense. All right, guys, so I'm gonna give you an update on the symptoms for today. First thing is, I feel amazing. Last night, I went to sleep, like not super late, but around like 11:30, but only because I had so much energy. I had energy the entire day. I didn't have a dip in energy at one point in the day. And today I woke up feeling super refreshed as well. I actually woke up with zero urgency again. And I feel like my sleep has really been regulated. This is actually really important because one of the worst things about colitis is literally the amount of time that you spend in the bathroom every day. And it's my dog coming in the room. And one of the worst things for me about having colitis, this may not be the case with everybody, but I felt like every single day I would wake up with urgency to go to the bathroom, and I have not felt that the past 2 days, which has been amazing because it's been years waking up every single day. And so one of the biggest struggles was not getting enough sleep, because my body would literally wake me up before I was well rested, because my colon was hurting and acting up and I needed to go to the bathroom. So it's been amazing to have relief from that already immediately. Like, it's been 2 days of full-fledged carnivore and I've already been seeing the relief. So it's been great. I've had loads of energy. My mood is a lot better in the mornings. I mean, I just feel like I have controlled mood throughout the day. I'm not as irritable. And I've heard, so this is interesting because I've heard Paul Saladino talking about the way that your diet affects your mental state. And not just in like this makes me happy to eat this kind of way, but literally the inflammation in your gut is correlated to the inflammation in your brain. And it makes sense, like Mikhaila Peterson and Jordan Peterson talking about helping their depression and anxiety respectively. But for me, I've always felt very irritable throughout the day. And I feel like it just makes a lot of sense when they talk about how sugar and carbohydrates cause inflammation and how that could affect your mood. So I actually did want to talk a little bit about the carnivore challenge for me. I'm doing it for 30 days. I'm actually going to continue the diet for 90 days to continue testing my results empirically. I mean, I'm just keeping a track of everything I eat and how I feel, my symptoms on a spreadsheet. But the carnivore challenge, I'm going to be filming every single day for 30 days, this food diary vlog kind of deal. And I basically hope to just get to the point where I can feel good enough and show that my symptoms have subsided to the point where I can actually go to my doctor and say, hey, I want to do a colonoscopy to show that I'm in remission and that I have no symptoms for colitis. And I want to be able to see that in the endoscopy or the colonoscopy scan. So that's pretty much the goal. I'm about to make breakfast. Breakfast is gonna be fun. I'm gonna do a little B-roll of all of it. But I wanted to also talk about how I got into it. So obviously in the first video I talked about the people that started convincing me, like the people that started talking about, like this lady who cured her colitis with the carnivore diet, Mikhaila Peterson, Jordan Peterson, Paul Saladino, Dr. Ken Berry as well. So Dr. Paul Saladino is the guy who I actually listened to his presentation. He had a presentation on his YouTube channel where he talked about, you know, debunking the carnivore diet. I mean, it was like facetious. He didn't actually debunk it. He made a huge case for it. And that's why I decided to give it a shot, because he started talking about things that I feel like most people have never really considered. Like if you told me that I would have had a full animal carnivore diet just a month ago, I would have said, no, that's terrible for you. Like you should never do that. You need fruits and vegetables. And I actually listened to his presentation and I started thinking, wow, like all of this makes a lot of sense. Like plants have toxins, you know, things that a lot of them we know about, you know, like flavonoids, saponins, tannins, lectins, things like that. Those are toxic to you because they're the plant's means of defense. Like it's biological warfare, like Paul says. But also that carbohydrates and sugar are predominantly linked to inflammation. That just made a whole lot of sense to me. That's how you feel after you eat a ton of bread or a ton of sugar. And when my dad talks about his gout acting up, it's usually after having some beers. I mean, you would think it was associated to, you know, we have a barbecue and you'll have some steak and you have some beer and some bread. And you always assumed that it was the red meat that was causing the gout inflammation. But now I'm suggesting maybe it's actually the beer, it's the carbs. And if you think about like the Inuit diet, like the Inuits have only had access to like whatever they hunted. And the studies that they've done on the Inuit diets is like perfect health, essentially. And even other things that Paul said, like just how much nutritional value is actually in meat, like beef liver being the only real superfood. I mean, I don't think he says only, but it's like way better than any, that's bright, way better than any plant product that you could ever have. Like any plant product that none of it comes close to how much nutrition is in beef liver. I'm not very excited to try beef liver, but I'm going to. And just the fact that, honestly, I started thinking about this logically. Like, this is how we ate for a really long time. Early civilizations, we didn't have Walmarts, we didn't have Publix. Here in South Florida, we have Publix. But we didn't have these supermarkets where you could just, or we just watched The Croods too with my family, and they stumble upon this incredible garden, and they just show up and they're like, oh, look at all these rows and columns of vegetables all lined up for us. And it's like, that doesn't happen in the wild. Before the agricultural revolution in humanity's history, like what we predominantly ate was whatever we hunted. So it started to make a lot of sense to me, like how badly was our diet affecting us, if this is how really we are supposed to be eating, or at least we were presumably eating for a really long period of time. So I just was convinced by a lot of those things to at least try it. And immediately the anecdotal evidence here is that I immediately started feeling so much better. And it's getting kind of bright up in here, so I'm gonna go make my breakfast.